In order to help you with your C++ programming assignment, I'm going to step you through the process of creating a program in C++ and then saving it and uploading it into Moodle. So we're going to start out by starting C++, our interactive development environment. So I'm going to start, and I have mine pinned to my Start menu, so I can just click on it to get it loaded up here. And this is what you're going to see when you go into C++. We have two different ways that we can get into our projects. We can do a new project, or we can open an existing project. We're going to start a project from scratch. You'll also see that you have recent projects listed down here. So this is another way that you can get back to something that you've been working on recently. So I'm going to click on New Project. Now this may look a little bit different when you come in. I've clicked on Win32 when I've been in here previously. You may have this first option, just Visual C++, selected. If you do, you're going to see more over in this center pane. If you click Win32, it limits what you see to just these two items, and it makes it a little bit easier to see what we're going to work with. We want to create a Win32 console application, so be sure that this is selected. Then we're going to look down towards the bottom of the screen. You need to provide a name. The name that you're going to use is given to you in the assignment notes. It's usually your first name, last name, the chapter, and then the exercise number. So I'm going to put in my name, and I'm going to say this is Chapter 2, just since the Chapter 2 is the first one where we're doing assignments. And I'm not going to do a specific assignment, so I'm just going to call this Exercise 99. The next important thing here is to look at the location. Where is this going to be saved? You need to know where it will be saved so you can find it to be able to upload it into Moodle. This is going by default into Documents, Visual Studio 2010 Projects, and that's fine if you want to keep it there. I've created another folder where I want to keep my work, so I'm going to click on Browse, and I'm going to look at Documents. And then within Documents, I have a folder called Courses, and then I have one for CIS 115, and I have something called My Assignment Solutions. So in My Assignment Solutions, that's where I want it to go. So I will click Select Folder, and you'll see that that folder is now specified here as the location. Down below it will show a solution name that is the same as the name you specified up here, and that's absolutely fine. Just leave that as the default. The other important thing here is to make sure this checkbox is turned on for Create Directory for Solution. This is what will create a folder and put all of your files for this assignment into one folder. With all of your files in one place, you'll be able to compress that folder and be able to upload that into Moodle so that I can see the work that you've done. So make sure this is turned on, click OK. Now in this step, we need to click on Application Settings. We need to customize this a little bit. So click Application Settings, and then you'll see it's set to Console Application. We want an empty project. We want to start out with nothing in the project. So click on Empty Project and click Finish. Now you have a project created, but you don't have a file here where you can start entering code yet. There's several different ways you can do this. You can go to Source Files, and you can right-click and do Add, and we want to add a new item. Or you can come up here to the top, and up at the top you're going to click on Project on the menu, and we are going to add a new item. And what we want to add is a C++ file. So choose this as your option. And then you'll see down at the bottom we need to enter a name. And the name for this is going to be main, and that's just a standard that you can use anytime you create a C++ program. So type in main, and your location, leave that set the same. That's going to be set based on what you specified previously. Click Add, and now you have a work area up here. You'll see your tab says that this is main.cpp, so this is your C++ program. This is where you're going to start entering your code. Now remember from the assignment instructions that I've asked you to be sure to comment your code. And you are always going to put a block of comments at the top so that I know who wrote this, what it is. Each place that you might work or any place that you might do programming, They're going to have their own standards for what they want included here. Comments start with 2 slashes, so we're going to type in // and the first thing I want is your name. Press enter, and then I'd like you to put what chapter this is and what exercise. And remember, I'm just calling this exercise 99. It's not anything that we're actually doing in the book. And you'll see I have an error here already. What happened? See these little wavy lines? Anytime you see wavy lines, go back and address those. What happened was I forgot to do / at the beginning. When I put the / in, you'll see that the wavy lines go away, and I'm okay. I can move on to the next line. So now, let me see if I can put those in. And this is going to be the semester. And then you always want to put something that's going to describe what this program does. So I'm just going to do the standard Hello World program so that you can see how this works. So this program greets the world. Okay. That's my comment block at the top. Now I can go ahead and move into the actual code. You'll remember from looking in your C++ language companion, and be sure that you are looking through that. That's where you're going to learn how to do the C++ code. Looking through that, you will have learned that you need to do the the directive at the very beginning. You need to do the include directive, and this starts with a £. And then we're going to do oops, let me make sure I'm spelling things right. You will see sometimes when you're typing in the interactive development environment, one of the nice things that happens is it will pop up suggestions. Here, if I press my tab key, it's going to finish and pick that from what's popped up for me and finish this off with my greater than, less than around it, so IOStream. This is one statement where you do not put a semicolon at the end. This is including our basic input and output ability to do that. So this one does not have a semicolon at the end. Most statements you will find do have that. Then we need to add the standard namespace. So using namespace. And these work together so that you can do basic input and output in your program. Okay, that's just something you're going to put at the top of all of your programs. And then each program is going to start with a main function. In C, we're going to build our programs out of functions. That's our building blocks. So each one has to have a main function. So for this one, we put in int main, and functions always have parentheses after them. Then we need a curly brace. And you'll notice when I press enter, the interactive development environment is automatically going to indent for us. The indenting helps keep our code lined up in a way that it's easier for us to follow. So I need to put in a curly brace and press enter. And then I can start putting in my statements. I want to output to the console. So I'm doing a cout, and then I'm putting in my stream insertion operator. And then the text that I want to have displayed is hello world. And then I end this statement with a semicolon. So my statement is cout, and then my stream insertion operator. Then the text that I want to output is hello world. I have to use double quotes around that because it's just a constant. It's text that I want to have output. Press enter at the end of this line, and then I need to return 0. And again, this is just a standard statement that you're going to put at the end. And then I finish up with my closing curly brace, and you'll see it automatically lines up my curly braces for me, and I have just written a C program. Now I'm going to save this to make sure that I have it all and I'm not going to lose anything. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on Save All. And that's just going to save everything that I've done so that it's set and ready to go for me. And now I want to see if this is going to work. So if I come up here right under Help, right below it, there is a Start Debugging button. I'm going to click on that, and this is going to run my program. And you have to build your code. You'll remember from reading back in the first part of the C++ language companion, it shows you the process that you go through. This is on page 6, where we start with our source code, and that's what we see right here. We've written source code. It's going to need to go through the compiler, create the object file, go through the linker, pull from that standard library. Remember, we specified our standard library here. And then it creates the executable file, and that's what actually runs. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to have it go through that process and take this source code and translate it into code that the computer understands. So yes, I want to build it. Watch down here at the bottom of the window, and you will see the process going on, and you may have seen that little flash there. That was our console that popped up, and then it went away. You may remember reading in the instructions that I provided for you for the assignment that this is going to happen if you just click your button to start debugging. Several ways around it. One way is to press Control and F5, and that starts without debugging. So here this is start debugging. If I do Control and press F5, that's going to go ahead and run it, and you'll see it says, "Hello world, press any key to return." So it gives me a chance to be able to see my output. You can also go to Tools, and in Tools you're going to come down here and go to Settings and change this from Basic to Expert, and you'll see how I already have mine set to Expert. If it's set to Basic, which is what the default is, when I go to Debug, all I have is Start Debugging. But if I go to Tools and Settings and change this to Expert, now when I go to debug, you'll see I have start without debugging as an option, which is the same as Control and F5. So whichever way you want to do it, either one of these is going to work. You'll see if I click here, it does the same thing. The other option that was provided for you is that at the end, before return, you can also type in a statement cin.get. And if we go ahead, and with this we can just use start debugging. And yes, we do have to rebuild it because we changed our code. And you'll see now it comes up. Instead of that press any key to continue, you're just going to get the hello world without anything else. It waits for input. That's what that last statement is doing. So if I press enter, now the console closes and I go back to my program. Okay, just a few other little things that I want to show you here. I'm going to take this statement back out and go ahead and do Control F5 to run this. And notice how hello world, this press any key to continue, runs right up against this. One way to get around that is to add an end line command to it. So I'm going to close this and come back here, and where I have cout hello world, I can add to this, add to the output, and I do this by adding another one of our stream insertion operators. End line. And now if I run this, see how it moved press any key to continue down? Because an end line says, okay, end this line, move on to the next line. So just want you to see that that's how the end line statement's going to work for you. Okay. I also would like you to see what happens if you do have an error. I'm going to take out this semicolon, and you'll see right away that there is, down here under return, I have a wavy line. Anytime you see wavy lines in your code, if you put your mouse over top of that, it's going to give you a little bit of information about what's going on. So here it says error, expected a semicolon. So with seeing this, I could go ahead and fix it right away. If I happen to not notice that and I go ahead and just try to run this, okay, what I'm going to do is come down here to my output window, and you'll see you have this little button here with an X. I can clear my window by clicking that. So I'm going to clear everything out here at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and let me see, how about if this time I use debug, and I'm just going to click on start without debugging, so you can see me doing that instead of doing control and the F5 key. Okay, project is out of date because I've changed my code, so yes, we need to go back and rebuild it again. Okay, there were build errors. Would you like to continue and run the last successful build? Well, no, that's not really helping me with anything, so I'm just going to say no and see if I can look down here at the bottom and figure out what's going on. So if I look in my output window, I can see over here there is an error message displayed, but I'm going to have to scroll to be able to figure out what that is. This button right here to the far right is my toggle word wrap button. If I click on that, that's going to wrap this around so it's a little easier for me to see. So I can see that I have a syntax error. I am missing a semicolon before return. So watch down here at the bottom. If you do have problems getting your code to run, you should see information down here that should help you with your debugging. So if I come back up here, I know it's before return, so I look up before return. Yes, here is where I'm missing my semicolon. Type it in. The little wavy line is gone. I'm going to save this again and go ahead and debug. Start without debugging. Yes. And it looks like everything worked fine now. It displayed my message. Press any key to continue. And I am done. Now your first assignment that you're going to do in C++ is very similar to what I did here. It's just that you're going to display information like your name, your address, your phone number, and I think the last thing is your major. So you're going to need multiple cout statements. So here where I have hello world, you'll just need to do this multiple times. So here you would just press enter, cout, what do I want to put into the output stream, and then put in whatever the additional text is that you need to output. And for each one of these cout statements, it's going to output another line into the console as long as you do end L at the end line. If you don't add this, it's going to just run everything together. So this is an important part of what you're going to be doing. Okay. So let's say you've gone through, you've completed everything, you're ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Do I want to save changes? Yeah, we'll go ahead and save the changes. Now, I'm going to first of all find my file on the computer, because remember it created a folder and I cannot upload an entire folder to Moodle. I have to get that folder and I have to compress it into a single file. Once it's in a single file, then I can upload that file. So I'm going to come down here and I can click on a little folder here to get to Windows Explorer, or I can come over here, click on Start, and I can go to Computer, and that will also get me there. And you have to think about where you saved things. So I put mine in Documents, and then I put it in Courses, and then in my CIS 115 folder, and I put mine into my Assignment Solutions. And you can put yours any place that you want that works for you. Okay, here I can see my folder, this Kim Bateman Chapter 2 EX99. And if I open that up, I can see that it did create a whole bunch of different files. This all has to do with my code that I created. But I want to go back to this My Assignment Solutions folder, and I want to just look at this folder without opening it. Right-click on the folder, and then I want to come down to Send To, then choose Compressed Zipped Folder. When I click this, what Windows is going to do is take all those files and folders that are inside this folder, and it creates what's called a zip file. This zip file has all of those other files inside it, but it is a single file. You'll see it's called the same thing, but it has a .zip file extension. Now it has this highlighted, so if I type anything, it's going to replace the name that's there. So I want to just click outside of there so I don't accidentally change the name. So now I have created my zip file. Now be careful, because you do have two things here in this folder that have basically the same name. One is just a folder, the other one is this zip file. And the zip file is what I want to find and upload. So now I'm going to go over to Moodle. And in Moodle, I'll go to my first assignment. And lots of information available here to help you out. Reminders of things that I've just gone over in this video. Here's showing you how to create your compressed file. And I'm going to come down here to the bottom and upload files. And I need to add a file, and I'm going to browse to find it. If this something different is selected over here, be sure that you have upload a file selected. Browse, And then I need to go to that location. Now with this, I had already done this once, so it has the correct location found. If not, you just start and you go through the process. It was in documents. Let me see. Then I stored it in courses, and it's 115, and it's my assignment solutions. And then I want to look for the zip file. So here is my file, and you'll see it has a little zipper on the icon too. So that's a tip off to make sure it's the correct file. So find this file, and that's what I want to open. And then we can click on Upload this file. And Moodle is thinking. Okay, Moodle is still processing. Okay, and Moodle has uploaded the file for me, so I can see right here is my file. If I needed to go and delete this file and replace it with a different file, if I uploaded and then later on I decided that no, I had an error and I want to go ahead and fix it, or there's something I forgot to do, I can click on this little button, and this is where I can delete and then upload a different file. But this is the file that I want for now, so I need to click on Save Changes. And when I scroll to the bottom, I should see that right here is my file that's been uploaded. Now again, I mentioned if you upload a file and you decide you want to upload a different file instead, you can click on Edit These Files, and that's going to take you back to where you could delete that file that you uploaded, and then you can replace it with a different file. Okay, and I think that should do it. If you have any questions about how to go through any part of this process or have problems as you're working with your C++ code, please get in touch with me. I would be glad to help. If you get stuck on debugging something, if you can do what I just showed you, where you can compress the folder down into a zip file, if you will send that to me as an attachment to an email, I can help you out that way too. Hope the program goes well for you. Bye-bye.